evening. Welcome to this election special of Have I Got News for You? I'm Jo Brand. In the news this week, at a last Conservative Party election rally, Arts Minister Sajid Javid begins to suspect he's only there for reasons of symmetry. As if his day hasn't been bad enough, one MP has to attend an inquiry into some missing parliamentary cutlery. What's in your pockets?
Nothing.
Empty-pocketed?
Well, I have a pen and a diary card. That's it.
From a hotel in the Lake District, rather intrusive footage emerges of breakfast being served to me and my husband. And in a pub in Scotland, CCTV captures the exact moment when news reaches the last Lib Dem supporter that Alistair Carmichael has kept his seat in Orkney. On Ian's team tonight is a stand-up comedian who used to play in a five-a-side soccer team called Real Madras. If you're watching Mr. Cameron, they're your favourite Spanish football club. Please welcome Romesh Ranganathan. And with Paul tonight is the Channel 4 news presenter who recently said sex comes into every evaluation of a woman. It is rather a delicious thing, really, what might have been or what could be. Let's leave it at might have been, shall we? Please welcome Jon Snow. And we start with the bigger election stories of the week. Ian and Romesh, take a look at this.
Trying to get out of the country. No, this is the race to get the first result in while people are still awake.
So woman can't count? Just devastated. Ed Miliband looking chilled out.
They're shouting at him.
Oh, so relaxed. You're an immigrant? No.
This is the throne.
The legend.
This way. And it's the winner.
I hate you.
Oh, there's balance. These are all people who've gone. Liberals, Hughes, poor old Danny Alexander.
Have I won?
No. No, he stayed in as punishment. And then it's goodbye. It was quite exciting because everyone said it was unpredictable, meaning they got it wrong. So we had this exit poll when it came out, which more or less told you what the result would be, which is a Tory win, except they'd understated the win. And then everyone spent the rest of the evening going, well, if this poll's right... Oh, God, it is right.
I'm just going to step to see if the exit poll's right. I know. I've stayed up for no reason. Okay.
They had Paddy Ashdown on at the beginning of the evening saying, if that exit poll's right, I'm going to eat my hat. Typical Lib Dem. The end of the evening, they gave him a hat. Did he keep his promise?
You're absolutely right, Ian.
It was the election.
Yeah, it was.
It was the election.
It was the election.
Oh, I think we've nailed that question.
Well done, 1 point.
I mean, all the people who were leaders at the beginning of the evening don't appear to be now. It's the end of Clegg, apparently. The end of Miliband. Could be the end of Farage.
Can I just tell you, it is the end of Farage.
It is the end of Farage. That's the biggest cheer he's got in London for a very... So that means that UKIP have got one seat.
No, it's very, very fair. They got 3 million votes.
Yeah,
They only used the one seat.
So we'll total wipeout for the Lib Dems. Who's gone then? You mentioned a few of them.
Cable, yes.
Cable, yeah.
Danny Alexander.
Yes.
Simon Hughes.
Indeed.
Charles Kennedy.
Yeah.
Everyone you've heard of.
Indeed.
They've all gone.
But not Nick Clegg.
No.
In an MP sort of way. He was very optimistic on Wednesday. Let's just have a look at him on BBC News.
A few hours away from the polls closing tomorrow night, and I think we will be the surprise story of the night. I think we'll be
You know, Channel 4's trying to sign him up as the last Clegg.
Hey!
Oh, Manus, well done.
I loved it, John.
Oh,
I loved it.
There's two professionals
Knocked it
in
out of
here.
the park, mate.
And also, according to BBC News, Charles Kennedy was toppled.
Will there be a special prize for the first politician that says he has a vision for 2020?
Possibly.
That was a strange reaction, wasn't it?
And all the hundreds of polls leading up to the election were inaccurate.
For about 6 months.
I know.
Everything everyone said all this year is rubbish.
But is that because we, the public, are a bunch of lying bastards?
Well, Farage's been banging on about not trusting the polls for ages, hasn't he?
Well,
It's the problem with democracy, isn't it? People just don't vote the way you want them to. It's a problem. I know it upsets you. And like in '92, a lot of people voted Tory at the last minute, having said to the polls, "Oh yeah, Labour." Yeah.
This thing about secret Tories, like ninja Tories, that are pretending they're not Tories, and all of a sudden, ha! X by Tory. Really weird phenomenon.
You've talked about Paddy Ashdown and what he said he'd do. Let's just have a little look at him actually saying that.
If this exit poll is anywhere near right, this is beyond your worst nightmares.
If this exit poll is right, Andrew, I will publicly eat my hat on your programme.
See, Paddy Ashton has been pictured wearing a bacon hat.
Well, also, Alistair Campbell said he'd eat his kilt. And David O'Doherty tweeted, "Does Andrew Neil's hair count as a hat?"
It would make a rather charming kilt, too.
Peter Kellner, the president of YouGov, pollster,
Yeah.
was having a bad time. Here he is with David Dimbleby.
They should campaign on what they believe. They should not listen to people like me and the figures we produce.
Well, they never will.
They should.
Again.
They should. Maybe not.
Do you know what? Somebody needs to get him 3 hats and make him eat them straight away.
Well, perhaps ill-advisedly, Peter Cal went on to defend himself by saying, "We're not as far out as we were in 1992. However, Ed Balls was remaining optimistic.
Mr. Balls, thank you very much for joining us. First of all, there's been this story going the rounds on Twitter and all the rest of it that you've been defeated. Have you heard anything about your result yet or not?
David, the ballot boxes haven't even arrived in the count. And they've got to be counted, and then we'll get the results. So I think maybe you should spend less time on Twitter and more time reporting the results when they're actually declared.
Let's just see how
That's
it
the
panned
Shadow
out
Chancellor.
for him.
So good of him to explain the whole process. They get the votes in and then they count them. Well, thank you, Ed. Thank you for your insight, you little expert.
He's an economist. He's good with figures.
Should we see how it panned out for him?
Ed Balls, in the last few minutes, Shadow Chancellor, lost his seat to the Conservatives.
Is that an R?
No. No, I think
This
some
is
people
the
would...
Shadow Chancellor.
No, some people were genuinely surprised, I think. There were some people who didn't know.
I'm sorry. I thought it was a wave of empathy.
Is David Dimbleby going to call him and go, "Have they been counted now, Ed?"
Now, Twitter's always a pleasure to follow with big events like this, isn't it, Ian?
It is, yeah. I knew about that weeks ago.
For example, Conservative Claire Perry tweeted after Mark Reckless lost his seat, and to be fair, she was very gracious about it. "Hallelujah, Mark Reckless out. Don't let the door hit your fat arse as you leave." And a bloke called Trevor...
I really must join up. One would learn such a lot.
You're not on Twitter yet, Ian?
Do you know I'm not?
Oh, well.
Why not? Why not?
Because I don't need the insight of Claire Perry.
It's not just Claire Perry that's on Twitter. It's quite a big thing.
Oh, no. Well, I must get onto it.
Well, There's also a bloke on Twitter called Trev Burnip, and he tweeted, apparently Grant Shapps has been elected in at least 6 seats. So did you all enjoy the live coverage, John?
Where did you watch it, John? In the Channel 4 studio?
I was in a pub.
Well, just round the corner, hoping Jeremy would have a heart attack and you could rush in. Sorry, some things are just not funny.
John, were you fed up that Paxman did the Channel 4
leave it out!
Well, I'd say Sky's Adam Bolton took a rare opportunity to have a snack.
And we'll leave it there, and I'll pass it back to you, Adam.
Thank you very much indeed, Ed.
Had he volunteered to eat Paddy's hat for him?
And also, what I don't understand, why is it in this day and age when you can communicate with people on international space stations, there's still a massive delay when you're trying to talk to someone in Loughborough?
Nick Clegg's a dead duck, isn't he? I said Nick Clegg is a dead duck, isn't he?
Well, I think that's a matter for the Lib Dems to answer about that.
Was it actually a delay, or was she just thinking, what the hell does she mean by dead duck?
She scares the shit out of me, that Kay Burley.
Oh, mate, terrifying.
Isn't she?
Oh, she's so terrifying.
I would have just answered, even if I couldn't hear her.
Nick Clegg has resigned, so I just wanted to get that.
Oh. Did you all hear that?
Yes.
Nick Clegg has resigned.
Hold on a second. Don't applaud. Do we have to start this from the top now? Why don't you just stand firm and just go, I don't care, mate. I'm gonna bring us back to the top. Do you know what I mean? Just the comeback kid, Nick Clegg. It's exciting.
Why don't people hire you?
Pardon? I would work for him. I'd bring Lib Dems back. I think he's a sexy dude.
Do you think Ed is going to resign?
Ed's going to resign.
Yeah. What about Cameron? See, I don't reckon he's up for another term.
What a maverick move that would be. Thanks so much, and goodbye.
Anyway, it's been a long night of interviews, everyone rushing to get on all the channels. John, you've had to interview people in a hurry in your time, haven't you? Here's a recent example.
Who concluded very firmly that what they were doing was lawful, it was proportionate, it was not intruding on privacy, and above all else, it was legal. Forgive me, I have to run for a train.
Right, yeah, OK. How possible is that?
This is the result of election night. In the Castle Point constituency in Essex, the Lib Dems scored a sorry 80 votes, meaning they were beaten by the Conservatives, UKIP, Labour, the Greens, and to put the icing on the cake, spoilt ballots. One SNP gain from Labour saw Britain's youngest MP for over 300 years win the seat of Paisley and Renfrewshire, or as the BBC called it, Paisley and Renfrewshire Sound. George Galloway lost his seat, although presumably it wasn't his fault. Before the count, he was confident of retaining his seat, but in the end proved he had all the psychic powers of Paddy Ashdown, as he lost by more than 10,000 votes. Here is Galloway. Wearing his dinner on his head. Labour's Yvette Cooper was re-elected, but it was a doubly bad night for her husband, Ed Balls. Not only did he lose his seat, he's now stuck with the childcare.
They said he's got to be the sort of leader's spouse now. So he has to come on stage and say, I love her, and she's really great. And then go off to the side and everyone says, look at his suit. Oh.
Where does he get his shoes from?
Oh, he's lost a lot of weight. Oh.
Paul and John, take a look at this.
OK, so Nick Clegg celebrating the inevitable.
That's from headstone to headstone.
Yeah. There's the man saying goodbye, and there's the... that's what he's... what is he looking at in there?
Just vote, for goodness sake. Whining here.
It's a message from his brother, David. He said, I'm coming home.
I wonder if David's actually been orchestrating things from behind the scenes. We're just phoning up Ed going, no, the stone tablet's a great idea. No, it's really... no, they'll love it. It's going to be amazing.
It was a terrific piece of counter-austerity. It cost £30,000.
Did it really?
Yeah.
I mean, the weirdest thing about it was that he did the stone tablet, massive stone tablet, and then signed it like someone else might claim that work as their own. Did he? I think it was Banksy that did that, yeah.
Well, I think maybe he said, oh, you know, I forgot the deficit in my last speech. How can I remember it? And they said, put it on your tablet.
But unfortunately, it's one of those metaphors that comes to haunt you. So he makes the stone tablet, and then his head of policy says in an interview, so, is he going to keep all those pledges? And she says, well, no, I mean, it's not as though they're, the phrase, set in stone. Offering over the top. And you think, oh, good, you've spent, what, 30 grand?
So
putting out some pledges which are, you know, they're negotiable. But as it happens, he hasn't got to negotiate with anyone.
Well, speaking on 5 Live, Lucy Powell explained, I don't think anyone's suggesting the fact that Ed's carved them into stone means that he's absolutely not going to break them or anything like that.
So what was going to happen? If he broke one of the pledges, would they get him to sort of strip to his waist and take a hammer to it? Do you know what I mean?
Well, another Labour insider said of Lucy Powell, she just messed up her words and her career.
She should try putting her speech on stone. That wouldn't happen. What I like about it is that the policy pledges are so vague, aren't they? I mean, like, controls
really
on immigration, but it's not said what level of control they're going to have.
No.
It's like, you know, they might as well just put stuff like people to continue breathing. Food for people that can afford it. Clothes, if you like.
Number 7 is no verbs.
He was advised to do it by one of his team of special election twats. Possibly one called Torsten Henriksen Bell.
It's the Working Men's Party.
Well, just in case my other joke didn't get it, I'll say it will go from Edstone to Headstone.
I mean, I don't want to be the first to say it, but, you know, Paxman, really, it's not in your league.
That could be taken in 2 ways.
What's one of the more practical problems to do with Ed's slab?
What are you going to do with it?
Well, there is that, but also no one's sure where it is now.
Oh, John thinks it's in Hastings.
In a car park.
Are you sure?
I was told.
Yeah.
Was that an exclusive?
It was on Twitter.
Oh, was that Twitter?
How do you know it's in Hastings?
Well, it certainly was in Hastings. That's where it happened. In a car
Right.
park.
But you don't know if it's still there?
I haven't been down to check, but I'm going.
You must take me on this
I'm going
little
to
day out.
I'm going to send someone.
Are you going to send Jeremy Paxman? Send him. Tell him it's a secret mission.
Yeah.
I'll go if you want, because I've got
go.
some relatives in Hastings, so I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Thank you. Right, now...
He said he was going to put it in the garden in Downing Street.
Yeah.
And then he changed his mind.
Why might that be a bit tricky? If he had one.
If he had one, which he didn't.
Won't go through the door.
No, because you need planning permission from Westminster Council, which is a Tory council. It's going to be in my garden, I reckon. Get the cats to piss on it.
Sorry, are we talking about Ed Miliband or the tablet of stone behind me?
Where have all the leaders actually been in the last 7 days?
All over the country. They're travelling all around.
Quite literally.
Yes.
They have, indeed. Where did Nick Clegg go? Does anyone know?
South East.
No, from Land's End to John O'Groats.
Oh, did he?
That's
With a stop
right.
in Coventry.
Indeed.
Imagine if he hadn't have done that. What would have happened then?
He was meeting ordinary voters, at least the ones who didn't know he was coming, and he according to the Times, in Newquay, he hovered over a pan with sausages and eggs, and he also cooked a curry in Cardiff. What else did he do in the name of alliteration? Does anyone know? Poached a perch in Penrith? Had a wank in Worcester? I don't know. Don't worry, Ian, that won't go out.
I bet it will.
Now, I had to go canvassing myself, and we were just knocking on people's doors, and the door next to me, sadly not mine, opened about an inch, and a woman's voice floated out and said, "I'm naked, but I'm voting Labour." It's been a good week for Labour's celebrity endorsements, despite the result.
Yeah. They sent Joe round and the whole election was won.
I don't count as a celebrity.
You
Ian.
do.
I'm just some fat old trout in the background with a fag out the corner of my mouth. No, there's proper celebrities.
Okay,
do you
who are
know
the proper celebs?
who? Does anyone know?
Russell Brand?
Yes, my illegitimate son, Russell. Anyone else?
Eddie Izzard.
Steve Coogan.
Steve Coogan. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Ronnie O'Sullivan?
Yeah, and Delia Smith.
Lovely. What a smorgasbord. I wonder how it didn't work out.
Who did Hugh Grant and John Cleese declare their support for?
Lib Dems?
Indeed.
Monster Raving Union? No.
Try again, John, try again. If you nail the delivery, I reckon this is going to go over. Go on.
Monster Raving Looney Party? Happens every night, you know.
That reaction was completely unbelievable.
It was the Lib Dems, yes. But according to Scottish paper The National, who came out for the Conservatives? Christopher Biggins.
He came out years ago.
The Tories have been pretty much wiped out in Scotland, as usual. Would you like to see Scottish Tory leader Ruth Davidson doing some politics?
Let's not undo all of the hard work of the last 5 years. It is the stability that's got our country back on track that's allowed us to go faster than this over the past 5 years.
A lot better than skunk.
No, I might move to Scotland. Now, let's have a look at how Britain went about voting yesterday. Now, some voters found themselves somewhere unexpected. Anyone know where it was? Well, the voters of Headington outside Oxford undertook the solemn task of voting for the next government here. In Hull, voters cast their vote in a boxing club. I can't see any voters there, though. Hang on.
There's one there.
Oh, there. And to end with, we've seen a lot of politicians visiting various factories in brightly coloured safety clobber, but they do tend to blend into one. So let's play a game of can you tell who it is when they're wearing high-vis? OK, who's this?
Oh, let's...
Clegg.
No, it's
That's
Osborne.
Osborne. Osborne. God, give the job to Paxman.
I think Clegg's in the body bag.
Just loading him into a diving bell for some reason.
That's what they told him.
And who's this?
Is it Ed Miliband?
That's little tiny Nicola Sturgeon.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
It's a big truck.
It's not. She's little.
Is it a dinky toy?
So there we go. Now, does anyone want to see the party leaders doing something really well?
Yes.
Please.
OK. Now, this has been on Sky News, so no one's seen it, but it is very good. Let's have a look. This is the lead-up to the big day. The giant stone was not Ed Miliband's finest moment of this election campaign. Still, it's nothing compared to the bricks Nick Clegg was shitting last night.
It's a bit liberal bashing your script, isn't it?
Do you think I wrote it?
Yeah.
I didn't, Ian.
Just
Are you a bit
interested.
upset?
Yeah, very. You can tell. No, I just like to see it all handed out evenly.
You like balance?
Not necessarily. No.
You know, there's a lot of pain in the country.
Are you aware of how sinister that was?
That was like a sort of American therapist with a personality disorder. Ed's visit to Russell Brand's flat ended with Brand saying, "What we've got here is something worth voting for," which makes a nice change from "just see yourself out, love."
The money's on the mantelpiece. It's the same joke. I'm extending the same joke.
To a sort of payment relationship. A loving but brief one.
To get the groceries for the breakfast that you said you're going to get in the morning.
Oh, OK.
Good save. Even though you are a prostitute.
For the final 24 hours of the campaign, Cameron, Clegg and Miliband all raced around the UK. The Independent provided a useful guide. Lucky Belfast. So, at the end of that round, it's actually 2 points each. Time now for round two, and let's move on from talking about the election to answering some quick-fire questions about the election. Fingers on buzzers, here we go. During the campaign, we learnt that Gerry Adams likes to keep fit by trampolining, but what's unusual about the way that he does it?
Is it on Ian Paisley? Oh, no, they're friends now. I know he's dead, isn't he?
Will you go on, babe, for God's sake? You're not going to be on the trampoline!
That sort of thing.
It's that sort of thing. But dead.
I think you've seen footage of that. Let's have a look.
No, he admitted that he likes to jump up and down on a trampoline with his dog while naked.
What kind of accident is he hoping for there? Fun times.
Yeah.
Butt naked with a dog on a trampoline. Who hasn't done that?
Which prospective councillor emerged as having a name that sounds a bit rude?
Arthur Bottomley?
No, that's sweet, though.
I'm going to think of the rudest thing I could think of. Bottomley?
No, it was UKIP prospective candidate for Barnsley, Wayne Kerr. Now, what is going on here?
I've just passed one of your manifestos.
This is a student, surprise, surprise, at Solihull College who approached Nick Clegg for a selfie. Shall we have a look, see what happened?
Hey, guys. Yep.
Poor chap. There is a lot of pain in the country.
Fingers back on buzzers as we go back in time for some fun questions about election night coverage in 1955. Whee! It was the first time the BBC covered election night. What caused great excitement in the studio?
It's the arrival of David Dimbleby.
I'd like to declare myself very much out of my depth here.
Was it the first live link-up to an election countdown, election result?
Did part of the scenery collapse?
No.
Did the desk collapse?
No, nothing collapsed.
Did someone lose a pen?
Did the presenter collapse?
Oh, maybe. No, but as well as that, they introduced a large electronic computer, which they called Ella. Here's Richard Dimbleby.
Something else happens to the results as well. They're passed down here into an electronic computer which we have nicknamed Ella. That's the girl, the big one standing down the end of the room. She's very complicated. The results go into Ella. They're sent in by the girls who work here. And in the end, they come out again, up the other end of the room, up here, in the form of statistics, which nobody can understand except David Butler and his statisticians there.
I hope I can understand them. It's my job, aided by Ella and my friends here with their slide rules.
I love the way they're segregated. The girls put the things in, and then it's the chaps who've got the slide rules. They're doing the proper work.
I mean, they're impressed by the computer. That man was a robot. He was plugged in. Like, that's the most impressive thing from that. What was that thing?
You mean the wire that was dangling out?
Yeah, the wire, yeah.
Well, that is because in the very long stretches of the night, you need opportunities to evacuate.
That's a poo cable. Is that what you're saying?
You never know if John's joking or that's actually what happened.
There's a lot of pain in the country.
Trying to get it through the cable.
Well, then, this next question might be relevant. What did Richard Dimbleby do during the broadcast that his son David Dimbleby has never done?
Pooed into a very thin cable.
I don't know. Was it maintain a monochrome presence?
No. It's connected with some oral activity.
Oh, he had a cigarette?
Indeed, he did. He smoked. Here he is.
That's amazing.
See?
Oh, my God. Do you think it was skunk?
You'd know, John, wouldn't you, you little tinker?
Fingers back on buzzers. Ed Miliband was interviewed by The Guardian this week. He answered one question by saying he had some, but didn't use them every day. What was the question?
Was it votes?
Packets of natural sea salt?
No.
No.
Oh, good ideas.
Chiselling equipment?
Let's have a look at one of the tougher questions he faced during the campaign. Here we go.
Do you own a pair of Wellington boots?
That is a good question. I think I probably do, but I wouldn't say they are, you know, used every day.
What I want to know is, what questions had he been asked previously to think that was one of the good ones? Do you know what I mean?
Finally, on Tuesday, Vince Cable and Nick Clegg got together to paint ceramic plates in Richmond. But what disappeared during the photo opportunity?
Their integrity?
No, it was Vince Cable's bike, which got stolen.
Oh. He's had a great week, hasn't he?
That means he's lost 2 seats.
Just goes to show you should never give up. We'll have to include the other 2 bozo jokes to make that one. to celebrate the success, we have to show the dismal failure. Otherwise, then clapping that looks very odd indeed.
Which means at the end of this round, it's...
that's not fair.
What? All right, do you want an extra point?
Yeah, please.
OK.
Well, on the grounds of which particular questions are you getting right, John?
His round of applause for his stunning joke.
If you're going to give awards for jokes, then you have to take points away for jokes that didn't work as well. That's the electoral system.
So it was 3-2.
Yeah,
Should we go
3-2's
back to that? Is that fair?
3-2's great.
I think it's generous.
3-2's fine.
Which means at the end of this round, Ian and Romesh have 3 and Paul and John have 2. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features some quotes from election night. And we start with, Gary the cat has eyebrows that what?
Distract you from the fact that Gary is a ridiculous name for a cat.
That raise at the slightest hint of an innuendo.
Seriously, why is it... You can't have a cat called Gary. I mean, you can, but...
You can.
Yeah, but it's a ridiculous name for a cat, isn't it?
I've got a cat called Colin.
Well, that doesn't mean that it's OK, does it? Are you serious? Colin?
Yeah.
So when he's out, you open the door and go, Colin! People just think you're looking for a bloke. There's no way they think Colin's a cat.
Well, the judge believed me.
Gary the cat has eyebrows that always make him look confused. Here is Confused Kicker.
He's probably thinking, why the hell am I called Gary?
Next, man spotted what behind Labour's Lucy Powell?
Man with chisel.
Man spotted eating muffin behind Labour's Lucy Powell. Shall we have a look?
Yeah, let's have a look at the muffin.
Might be really interesting.
Yeah.
The opposite effect to what many people in Scotland want, which is and if that's what happens, then, you know, we're going to have a very divided country.
Lucy Powell.
Preparing.
The way he ate it was unacceptable as well, wasn't it? Just take the case off, you savage. What's wrong with you?
Next. A study finds that some beards are what?
Incredibly sexy and worn by legends.
Are not what they seem.
Cause delays at airport security.
Braces now, Romesh. Yeah. Some beards are as dirty as toilets.
Oh, dear.
Well, I'm regretting some life decisions now. One is the beard, the second one is not ever cleaning my toilet.
There's a lot of pain in the country.
You're going to keep saying it, and at one point it's going to be the perfect thing that could have been said about it.
According to a new study by microbiologists, beards could actually be dirtier than a toilet because of the rancid bacteria that they collect.
Still sexy, though.
Next one. Princess's birth certificate reveals what?
Birth certificate reveals that she cannot form a government under the present legislation. And has resigned her position as royal baby. It's not the gig I was promised, she said.
Princess birth certificate reveals Charlotte. Princess's birth certificate
reveals her name.
Her name.
Reveals her name.
I mean, you're supposed to do the blank. You're struggling to read the first words.
It's no auto cue.
Actually, Paul, you were on the right track with your first answer that you gave up. Yeah. It actually reveals father's occupation as Prince of the United Kingdom.
Well, what a surprise.
Next, vote has to be recounted after what in Corby?
Can you imagine if you got to the second to last one and then someone goes, 163, and he's going, oh, shit.
It's not where the UKIP candidate was left off the ballot paper.
No.
I mean, first of all, how difficult is it to count one vote?
Well, the answer is vote has to be recounted after trestle table collapses in Corby. One volunteer was briefly trapped underneath the trestle table in Corby, but on the plus side, it did press his trousers.
Thank you very much. Sympathy in the first row here.
Yeah. And finally, Vince Cable says what?
Goodbye!
Vince Cable says, I'm absolutely sure we're going to bounce back.
Oh, he did say that afterwards.
Doesn't make any sense, does it? You're optimistic before, then you realise you've done shit. Stop being optimistic. Do you know what I mean? It's all gone wrong.
But that's real grit.
Just stop for a minute, please.
Yeah, it's too much, isn't it?
The Miliband has resigned.
Oh, my God!
As unexpected as I am to take on the leadership of the Labour Party, and indeed the Liberal Democrats and UKIP as well, I will merge them all together into one almighty union.
Everything we said is completely irrelevant.
So out of that 7, who's left? It's like the Magnificent
Nicola
Seven.
Sturgeon.
3 women are left.
Natalie
Clyde
Bennett.
Cumberry.
Has she not resigned yet?
Leanne Wood.
Oh, come on.
So that's...
A lot of pressure, isn't there? A lot of pressure.
So
They got one seat. Give it back to Caroline
all
Lucas.
the men have gone except Cameron.
Only the women have staying power.
You'll do anything for applause, won't you?
I'll do anything for a woman.
You dirty, saucy son! I like you. Oh! Cheeky bugger.
Our cat threw up on the carpet this morning. I couldn't bring myself to clear it up. Would you mind? So, should we wait to see if anyone else resigns, or should we carry on?
I'm happy just to chill out for a bit.
No, I think, we got Natalie. I remember when she came out to do a speech, her first point was Caroline Lucas is really great. And I thought, if I was leader, that wouldn't be the first point. Anyway, she's probably gone.
No, they're very much there.
Really going to stay? Going to hang in?
Yeah.
John's going out with all of them. So, the final scores are Ian and Romesh have 4 and Paul and John have 2. On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Romesh Ranganathan, Paul Merton and Jon Snow. And I leave you with news that a retired couple on a coach trip are looking forward to enjoying the large piece of cheddar they've brought with them. In one constituency, the vote for the joke candidate is split 3 ways. At the end of a long and pointless election campaign where he's tried so hard not to be odd and weird, Ed Miliband finally gets to relax on the train journey home. After losing his seat, an aide wonders if Vince Cable now has time to give his eyebrows a quick trim. And the Labour Party's stone slab bearing Ed Miliband's carved set of election pledges is put on display again, having been modified and brought up to date. Good night.
The BBC's economic editor, Robert Preston, is in the chair on Friday at 9. And if you missed Charlie Brooker's election wipe last week, it's not too late. Enjoy the campaign highlights and lowlights all over again with BBC iPlayer.